I'm curious, before we kind of dive in here, how many of you guys received the worship fertilizer right now? And, is it worth getting? Yeah? Okay, so the rest of you guys should be on the fertilizer? Is that what you're saying? Okay, cool. We love creating those things. It's a weekly newsletter. You're like, what's the worship fertilizer? That's a weird name. Yeah, anyway. It's something. It's a newsletter we send out every Wednesday that teaches on the area of worship in lots of different areas. And it came from this desire simply to serve and to help and to give some drip irrigation to the worship teams around the area. So in 2002, I had this dream to start up something that can help to pull out from the roots, which is the definition for eradicate, to eradicate isolation and burnout, so that no leaders would be burned out, no teams would be burned out, or would feel all alone, feel isolated. Those are terrible places to be, aren't they? Yeah. So we started doing that in 2002. Since then, we have now 9 coaches in 3 different states. One of them is somewhere else down in Baltimore teaching at a seminar today. 2 of them are here. Tony Geyer running the sound today and teaching the class. Jim Rahowski in the cool hat, wherever he is back there, teaching the acoustic guitar. So we're a team of coaches that are built to inspire, to help teach, equip, and facilitate worship. But today, it's about you. That was a little bit about us. Today's about you. And here's the thing. There is something that is holding you back. There's something that's holding you back. It's keeping you from bringing your best, from being your best, and from even feeling like your best. There's something holding you back. It's a big deal, and it's a big deal not just because for you, because that's important, right? But it's not just for you, but it's also because we need you. You're a gift to the world, to the church that you're planted in. You're a gift to them, and they need you, right? Say, I'm important here. That I believe. I'm important here. I can be replaced tomorrow. It's a good balance. Both are true, right? But God has an assignment and a mission for me to do, and if I don't get this, I might not make that mission happen, and that's not okay. And here's what's holding you back. You don't know who you are. And I'm not talking about the identity thing, like who Jesus says you are. You can go to adlibmusic.com/014, and you can read about that piece there. That's a different talk. What I'm talking about is what you don't understand always is what motivates you as being on the worship team. Why are you doing this? What motivates you, and how what motivates you is different from others, and how they see you, and how you influence what's happening on your team, in your congregation, and even what they need from you, because you lack something called self-awareness, and we all deal with that in some way. So here is a solution I want to give you. I'm hoping to give you something that's a bit of a mirror, so you can see more clearly who you are, how God has shaped you as you serve in worship ministry. And I'm going to be talking about, this is something kind of like a personality testing system for worship leaders, or I like to say the Enneagram for worship leaders. Now, 2 things I need to define before we go further that might get you stuck here. The first thing is, when I say worship leader, you might say, well, I'm not the worship leader. So John Maxwell has famously defined leadership simply as influence, right? If you are influencing something, then you're by definition leading there. Now tell me, how much does a drummer influence what happens in worship? Right? Everything, right? How much does the keyboard player? Not much. No, I'm just kidding. How much does the sound guy influence? Right up there with the drums, aren't they? How about the lyrics operator? How much do they influence worship? No pressure, guys. It's hard work. If you've ever run lyrics, you know that how much it takes to focus and pay attention and guess where the leader's going, et cetera, et cetera. So you are worship leaders. In this definition, everyone here is a worship leader. No matter if you're in the front, in the back, wherever you are, if you're influencing, you are a worship leader for our discussion today. So you can't check out. It's not possible. This applies to you. So the second thing we need to define is this thing called the Enneagram. Now, it's not the pentagram. It has nothing to do with that. The Enneagram is simply a personality typing system, but it's unique. It doesn't tell you like what you do and what you're prone to doing. It tells you why you are doing that. And the question that they often ask is this: what are you doing when you're doing what you're doing? Like, no, what are you really doing? Like behind, like what's motivating you? Why are you doing this? It's not what we do, it's why we do it. And that's kind of what this system is going to talk to us about today. So it's a system we call the 5 faders, and you can't read that super well yet, but we'll blow it up in a minute. But let me clarify something before we dive into what this means. So the 5 faders, it's not a role you play, not a job description. It's not the hats that you wear. That has nothing to do with that. They're the way that you see the world when you approach worship ministry. When you show up on Thursday nights with your bass guitar in hand and you're ready to play, you are looking at that environment through certain eyes, through one of what we believe is 5 different faders. And so we're gonna go do a little bit of a deeper dive here into what those are. So I'll give you an overview, and then we'll go deep. So there's 5 faders. It's artist, shepherd, priest, educator, and producer. And if I would have found something that starts with an N, I could have had my son's name, ASPEN, and it would have been perfect, but I couldn't find a word for producer that started with an N. So that's your job. Just kidding, don't think about that. All right, so the artist is this. The artist is the person who wants to create beauty and express emotion through the music. They have a specific idea of how things sound. There's lots of emotion and passion put into the music, and they can get wrecked or torqued if somebody like shows up unprepared or something doesn't sound right. Like they really care about that. Like it's important. A shepherd simply cares for the people. You know what the shepherd is. They'll adjust their rehearsal. They'll do something different at their rehearsal depending on how they're reading the body language of their team when they walk in. Like, oh, it seems like there's something. You guys, are you doing all right? And when they ask that question, how are you doing all right? They don't just ask that question generically. They'll say, hey, Sam, how's your new job going? And Martha, are your kids better now? Because I heard they were sick. Like they just know each other because they carry each other on their hearts. They're just shepherds. The priest is kind of what we call the true worshiper. It's the Mary sitting at the feet of Jesus. And man, everything else can be going nuts, can be going crazy, can not be working right. And let's just sing to the Lord. Come on, if they've ever said, let's just worship, maybe you're a priest. They can also be very prophetic and warring through the music. So what they're playing is not just like, no, these are my notes, but when they're playing, they're like saying something, and they're proclaiming something in the Spirit from their hearts because they're priests. The educator, every chance you get, you want to. Can I explain how this works? Here, this is why, guys, you see this lyric here? This doesn't support our theology. That's probably an educator right there. Guys, do you know the story behind this song? It's amazing. You need to hear this story. It's great. Hey, guys, do you know why we have to go back to the 1 when we're playing there? Because it just doesn't sound right to go to the 3. The 1 is like, when you're at the 5, you really want to go to the 1. That's just how it works. Can I explain that to you a little bit more? Next week, we're going to watch a video that has some more music theory. That's the educator. And the producer is the organizer, someone who loves to have a well-executed plan. Like, you'll receive, if your leader is a producer, you'll probably have the charts 3 or 6 weeks beforehand, like not the day of. The producers wouldn't do that because I joy in having a well-executed, things done with excellence, things done thoughtfully, things done in a way that's like, wow, this is amazing. So for example, let's take a practical example. How many of you have ever heard the phrase or the question, or not the question, there's a question implied in it, but the statement that says, that's not how they do it on the recording. You ever heard that one? Right? So think about this for a second. The artist might say that because, man, that recording captures this energy. The way that the sounds came together are just beautiful. We have to do it like that because it just sounds so right. It sounds so right. Not even good. It's like right or wrong. It sounds so right. The shepherd, guys, you've had this recording for a while, and I feel like my team's going to be thrown off if we don't stick to what you know. I'm really worried about the team. The team needs to feel comfortable. The people on my team might not feel right if we don't do the recorded version. They might say, that's not how they do it on the recording, but that's why they said that. The priest, man, this arrangement just flows out of this heart's deep dive in God. And listen, guys, I know the recording, I know we have to be within our 22 minutes, but those 6 bridges, I mean, that's where we go deep with God. Oh, and if we don't do that, that's the priest. The educator says, guys, no, we need to do it like the recording because it's the original. I mean, that's the way the true. We need to stay true to the original. It's important. It's important to be honest, to have integrity, and to stay true to the original. That's the educator. And the producer will say, well, look, this is the chart that we're following. You can just follow the chart. I made the chart for you. It's right there. The chart. That's the thing, right? So you're starting to see how you said the same thing with completely different motivations. Like, nobody's on the same page with that as far as why they did it, why they said that. So I want to take us a little bit deeper into what that looks like. So artist, shepherd, priest, educator, and producer. And what we're going to go through here for a little bit, and then I'm going to get some interaction from you, because I know you're probably already typing yourself. You're like, oh, I see. That's why I'm that. Huh. Well, that's curious. So let's go a little bit deeper on what we're going to do. I'm going to give you different things, basic fears, character traits, things that are common pitfalls, and the common virtue of each of these things, so we can kind of see them together and get a better idea of what they look like. So the way we talk about it, each fader has a healthy and an unhealthy expression of it. And when it's healthy, the artist is a craftsman, able to take raw material and make beauty from that. When it's unhealthy, it's a diva. It's demanding. As I said one time, look, there's lots of different highways. You can pick my way or choose one. That's the diva, right? That's what the diva says. The shepherd, in the healthy version, is a pastor. They just love people. They get that piece of and again, this is not the main leader. This can be the keyboard player, is wired to, the person who brings the food, who starts the conversations like, hey, how are you guys really doing? Like, are you all right? The pastor will do that. The unhealthy expression, I'm saying it's a clique, like, this is our group, and we are very shepherded, but this is our group. Don't come in here. This is our group. Or I said it even as a cult. Like, there's a sense of guarding in an unhealthy way. The priest, I think in the healthy version, is a prophet, which I take to mean simply expressing the emotion of God in the moment, kind of conveying and saying, not necessarily giving a prophecy, but carrying that heart, saying, there's more than what meets the eye here. We're saying something deeper than what's here, and God is saying this for this moment. Can we do that chorus again? But in the unhealthy version, they're back to the air supply, and I'm lost in love, and I don't know much. Were there people I was leading? I fell out of touch. Right? That's the priest. As an educator, if you're healthy, you're a mentor. You're a mentor who's sowing into other people, who's helping other people get what they are doing and who they are. If you're an unhealthy educator, you're like the Facebook wall during election season, trying to convince everybody of everything that you think is right. And it gets kind of old sometimes, doesn't it? Wow, I expected a lot more visceral response on that one. Are you guys all educated? Is that what's you're like, but I was trying to tell people that this is the right way to vote. This is important. All right, sorry. And the producer's healthy, they're an architect. They've got this thoughtful blueprint. They understand how things work, and they're able to. Can you just think for a second what an architect did to make this from a picture in their head to the room you're sitting in? That took some skill, didn't it? That's what an architect does when they're healthy. When they're not, they're just a dictator. Because this is the plan, and there is no flexibility in it at all. I'm sorry. No. We're doing this. Thanks. So that's the healthy and unhealthy. The focus of attention. Everybody is focused on something, and so I'll go through these, and you can make your connections. So the artist is focused on the product. What's the product? What are you hearing? What are you seeing? What are you experiencing that way? The shepherd is focused on the people. The priest is focused on the presence of God. The educator is focused on the principles. And the producer is focused on the process. 1 goes to 2, goes to 3, goes to 4. This is the way we do things. I'm a producer. People, so product, people, presence, principles, and process. Good news is, well, I'll tell you that later. A little side note here. There's a word called the Greek word called it's called metron, and it just means a measure, but it also means like an area of influence, an area of. You can think of it this way: when you're operating in your metron, in your area of giftedness, in your fader, you have authority in that place. It gives you life. There's a lot of fruit around there. So if I'm an artist and I'm operating in the artist fader fully and healthily in an integrated way, I'm loving it. And it's really fun. There's a lot of life. There's a lot of fruit. It's great. Romans 12:3 says, "For by grace given to me, I say to everyone among you, to think not of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think with sober judgment, each according to the measure or the metron of faith that God has assigned." So it's this idea of this is what I've been given to do, and I'm walking in that in a fully integrated kind of way, and there's a lot of life. So when you're walking that way, you're going to see what we call the characteristic virtue or the strength or the value that you bring to the team when you're operating in each one of these things. So the artist, you're going to bring beauty. Man, I'm so glad. I'm so glad the music this morning wasn't just kind of like, praise God, we got through it, we could sing, but it was not very pretty. There was beauty in there, wasn't there? There was the artistic fader came to bear and made this beautiful thing together. The shepherd, the virtue that the shepherd brings is community. That's what they bring. That you can follow them, and there's a trail of community left behind them. That's just they have built good relationships. The priest has built devotion, or they bring in devotion. There's a sense of I want to follow God more than I did before because of what that person did. And you know those people that bring that to you. Like being around them makes me want to follow God more. The educator brings wisdom, and we need wisdom. We need to know how to do things well and right, how to think well and right about things. The producer brings excellence because they've thought through it. They've been intentional. There's a plan. So you have beauty, community, devotion, wisdom, and excellence. I wish every worship team was like that, don't you? Their basic fear, though, is this. For the artist, sounding bad, looking bad, that's a real fear. Like, it really throws me when things don't sound right. And it really throws me. Like, that's the thing that I want to avoid kind of at all costs. And we'll talk about what to do about that in a little bit. Shepherd, biggest fear is hurting people or letting people down. I really don't want to hurt you. I don't want to let you down. I'm here for you. The priest, basic fear is to miss God or just to go through the motions, to do this lifeless thing that doesn't mean anything anymore. Oh, we have to listen to God and encounter Him, and we have to go there. And the educator has the fear of being wrong or missing the point. Like, we did this thing, but we didn't we didn't even understand what we were doing here. We missed that. And then the producer, the fear is to look incompetent. Not to be incompetent, to look incompetent. And to miss the mark. We had this standard. We were going for it, man. And what happens if we miss it? Oh, I don't know if I can deal with that. So those are the basic fears. Each of the faders give energy to a certain place. So the artist's primary energy is I feel. That's where that's what I'm going off of, man. It's just, I don't even know how to describe this. There's this, can you play this like watery kind of sound? And I can't even talk about it, but can you feel what I'm feeling? No? Oh, shoot. Just listen to the recording and do that. Okay. That's awful. Maybe it is. Maybe it's fine. The shepherd is, the primary energy is I care. I almost want to say, I carry you on my heart. I care. I really care. And some of us with a low shepherd go, I wish I did. I just don't enough. The priest, I love. Oh, can I give more of that love? I just need to give some more love. I love. The educator is I equip. Here, tools. Take these tools. This is how you do. Let me explain how to do this. You got these tools. Are you okay? You good? Okay. This is a tool. Good. Okay, great. I equip. That's the energy that I carry. And then the producer is I do. It's type A. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it. I love checking things off the list because I did them. That's the energy of the producer. The basic desire of, and just so you know, I'm going to have available for you, I believe, summaries of all these, so you can have them. Like the artist is all of this stuff, the shepherd is all of this stuff. But you can keep taking notes. That's because it's good for your reminders and learning to keep taking notes. That's why I didn't tell you earlier. I didn't want you to be lazy. All right, so the basic desire of the artist is to create beauty, to sound powerful, to express emotion through art. To create beauty, to sound powerful, and to express, think of all those words that I'm saying, express emotion through art. This note here. Oh, did you hear that? No. This note, did you? Oh, feel that. The shepherd, to be, some of you are laughing because it's like, that's me. And some of you are like, oh my word, that is weird. I know that guy. I love that. Shepherd is, the basic desire is to be together, to be a family or a community, to really share life. Let's get beyond the surface. Let's go deep. Let's share life. Let's be a family. The priest is, I just want to be with God. I want to linger in that transforming presence of God. That's where I want to be. I think of the old Don Moen song. Anybody else got it? Yes. Good job. Gold star. The educator's basic desire is to bring out the best in others and to be fully equipped. To bring out the best in others and to be fully equipped. The producer's desire is to pull it off well, to be intentional in planning and in performance. So we want to pull it off well. That's what we glory in. We want to be intentional in our planning and in our performance of that plan. So here's a perspective. This is called the healthy sense of self. So when each one of these faders is healthy, this is how they see themselves. The artist says, "I'm creative. Yeah, I'm creative. It's wonderful. I'm creative. I can do these things. It's amazing." The shepherd says, "I am a safe place. People around me feel safe." That's such a gift, man. I am a safe place. The priest, the healthy sense of self, is, "I am wholly given to another," with a capital A, another, and a wholly with a WH, like completely. I am completely given. That's like the foundational core of how I see the world. I'm not my own. I'm really not. The educator is, "I'm wise." Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm wise, but I'm wise. Yeah, I feel like God has given me something. I have that wisdom. And the producer says, "I am prepared." Yeah, I'm ready. I am. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this. On the dark side, though, because there's always both sides to that, to each one of these, the characteristic temptation or vice or flaw or shadow in Enneagram speak, the artist is perfectionistic. Everything just like this. No. Yeah, that's better. There we go. Just that was perfect. The shepherd is oversensitive. Like, please, come on. It's not all about that. It's okay. Just turn the sensitivity level down just a tiny bit. That'd be great. The priest is judgmental because we just came here to worship, and God is worthy of that. And you guys, if you're all stuck on the music or your plan, let me just tell you, in heaven, you can get judgmental. The educator gets lecturing because you need to do it right this way, not because it needs to sound great, because it's right, it's correct, it's the plan, it's right. They get lecturing and they talk and talk and talk. It's just okay, just tell me once, that's it. And the producer is micromanaging, right? No, do not move that in planning center. I know you can drag it. Don't drag it up there. No, this is where it belongs. Don't touch that. Key defense mechanism is, for the artist, it's contempt. Like when I feel like things aren't going my way, my defense, the way I defend myself, my own needs, my own fears, is I get contemptuous, like, these guys suck. I'm not saying I'm better than they are, a lot better, but they just didn't bring any game at all. I mean, it's just really sad. It's really sad. The shepherd goes into mistrust. I don't think relationships are very, and I don't think they like me, and I don't trust that. I don't trust them. This is not good. Like that's where they go in the defense. The priest goes into isolation because it's just me and God after all. Me and Jesus. That's what matters. So seriously, I'm okay on my own. I'm just going to go and sit at the piano and play and sing to Jesus. We're good. We're good. I miss you guys. The educator goes into debate mode. And let me tell you why I'm right. No, I hear you. No, I don't. Let me tell you why I'm right. The producer goes into control. You've never seen Control at church, have you? So I don't need to discuss that one at all. Great. We have Just a couple more, and then I'm gonna ask you guys some questions. What time are we supposed to stop? I forget. Good. Am I not a producer? Did I just give myself away? And I will say this. Well, no, I won't say that. Like the Enneagram, I will say this. It's important not to type people. You don't tell them who they are. You can observe and be, I wonder if seriously, this is important. I wonder if they're acting that way because this is important to them because of that motivation. How am I going to have grace for them? What does love require of me in this moment? Rather than, you're such an artist. Way to call me to life. Thanks. That really kind of actually hurts. So anyway, that's do we got a time yet? 10:20. Excellent. I got 10:20, I got 10:15, I got 10:25, 10:25. All right. That's great. Oh. All right, so there's some correlation to are you familiar with the DISC personality profile? DISC, yes? A couple of you, yeah, all right. So here's how these line up with the DISC, because it's kind of an interesting piece of this. So the artist correlates with don't box me in like that. I'm not part of the DISC. I'm serious. The shepherd is steadiness, the S, right? They're the S. The priest is the I, the influencer, the sparkly one. The educator is C, the conscientious or correct one. And the producer is D, the dominant one. So there's some correlations there. And while we're talking about DISC, let me put some other correlations that might be helpful as you're thinking about where you are, how you're wired, and where you're serving. So whenever you take the DISC test, you get two answers back. You get your natural, and then you get your adapted. And the natural is, like you would think, is kind of who you are by default. But your adapted is what your situation, your environment is requiring of you. And when you get that test back, and if it goes like this, that's great. If it goes like this, and there's a big gap between two of your points, that means there's probably stress in that area. Because, for example, let's say your D is really low and you don't like making decisions, being like directive, giving orders, making calls, but your role puts you in that, like you need to have a higher D than what you do. You'll feel stressed because every time, like, okay, I've got to tell that person they're not supposed to do that. I hate doing that. I'm just a shepherd. Do I need to be a D right here? So the same thing is true in this. If your environment is a high priest environment, and they go really deep in worship, they really want to go deep in worship, but you're an artist, or you're a producer, or you're an educator, or you're a shepherd, that might stress you out. If there's a gap between what your situation is calling for and what you are naturally, that can stress you out. Now, it might mean that the church you're at, it's not a good fit for you, even if you're on staff. Wow. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. It's not like you're a terrible leader. It's like the church might just be the wrong fit for you. You're not wired this way. This is stressful every time you show up. It doesn't work. Or the team that you're playing on. It might mean that. It might also mean that God is wanting you to grow in those areas, and we'll talk about that in a second. But being aware of those gaps is a first place to start, because you might be feeling kind of like, I don't know why I don't like this. I know what they're doing, but I don't know why I don't like this. Maybe I do now. Maybe I understand, that's crazy. That's weird. Okay. So, hidden complaint, in other words, these are things that you might not say, but you feel a lot, you think a lot. So, the hidden complaint for the artist is that church music must regain its prominence in art, in the world. Like, we've got to bring it better like they used to be. Like the Sistine Chapel was like church music of the day. Why are we not doing church music of the day today with our music? It's lame. That's the hidden complaint. The shepherd's complaint is, why can't we just all get along? Come on, guys, can we just get along? It'd be great. It'd be so much better. The priest, the hidden complaint is all this stuff, this technology, clicks, stuff. Don't like it. The educator is, man, if you just knew what you were doing, man, this would be so much better. If you, really, sound guy, if you just knew what you were doing, it should be so much better. And the producer's hidden complaint is, I think if you're flying by the seat of your pants, maybe you're just filling your pants. Grow up already. Enough of this spontaneous. Just come on, grow up. Favorite music. Do these artists have favorite music? I mean, do these faders have favorite music? Now this is a slightly tongue-in-cheek one, just for kicks, but it does say something about the DNA of some of these churches that I'll mention. You can see if you think I'm on or if it's not on. So, the artist's favorite music is Bethel, or maybe some indie thing that we've never heard of. Right? The shepherd's favorite music is maybe Vineyard. The priest's favorite music is House Fires. The educator's favorite music is Sovereign Grace, or maybe just hymns. That's fine, because they teach you they're deep. And the producer's favorite music is maybe Elevation. Because they're have you seen their production? It's legit. Maybe I missed some of those. I don't know. Those are my guesses, just to kind of help paint pictures of, hey, you know what? Different streams of music actually have different values and have different faders almost to them. Not every song. I get that. So the last one we'll do is how to get along with each of these guys, and you'll probably appreciate this. Maybe if you're one of them, you'll be one of these, so you'll appreciate something in here probably. So how to get along with an artist. Ready? Show up with your parts learned, please. Ask me if what you just sang or played felt musical. Bring your creative ideas to me. Listen and respond to others in the band musically. Hey, act like a pro. Work hard to create beauty. Can you do that? Hey, can you get better at your own craft? That would be helpful. Can you just always bring your personal best? Whatever that is, just bring the best. Can you do that for me? Ask me if you're not sure what I should play or sing. Just ask me. I'll tell you. I have the vision. I know what it is. Ask for my feedback if you're mixing the band. Wouldn't that be wonderful if my sound guy would say, hey, what do you think about the mix? Is there anything that you want me to highlight? Is there any way I can make this more musical? Has a sound person ever asked that question of a worship team? Yeah? 2, 3? Not very many, right? Would that be beautiful? And take musical risks and musical direction. How to get along with the shepherd. Can you open up to me? Let me care for you? I really want to. I really want to. Can you care for the other folks on our team? That would be just, thank you for doing that. That really makes me excited. Can you look to me for spiritual guidance? So I really want to shepherd you. I really want to help walk you along. And let's hang out. Really, come on, can we hang out? If you're saying that to me as a shepherd, yeah, let's get together. You want to organize a team gathering? Really? I'd love that. If you're a priest, hey, can you plan an unplugged worship night and just invite me to it? That'd be so great. I'd love just get together and let's just worship together. And if you're up front, can you always sing? No matter what instrument you're playing, I just want you to just sing. Can you please just sing? That's just, when you just stand there and play, it's just it's like you're not even worshiping. Can you break open your heart's alabaster box every time we lead? Just lay your heart open before the Lord. Could you just do that? Bring that heart? Can you nurture your own worshiping life at home? That would be such a blessing. Can you flow with me every time I go off script? If that ever happens, if the Lord leads us that way. And can you learn to play and sing prophetically, to not just play the chords and the notes and sing the tunes, but to really say something prophetically? How to get along with an educator? Ask me to explain it to you and tell me to tell you how something works. I would love that. Ask me, where is that found in Scripture? Tell me about the next Worship Link event. May. Just in case you're wondering. Is that right? May? Are we going with May? For the next Worship Link event? It's coming. Look to me for insight, for understanding. And can you bring a video series that maybe we could go through as a team? That would be really great. One of the team brings it to me as the educator, awesome. How to get along with a producer. Respond to the PCO email, please. That's everybody. Praise God, he finally said it. Why is that so hard? Oh man, that's pretty much it. Just do that, and that'll make my year right there. Why is that so hard? It's clearly not an issue. All right, stay on schedule. Remain in your allotted time, please. That'd be great for everybody on the team. Announcements, pastor, just everybody. We agreed to an allotted time. Just can you do that part? Show up when you said you would, preferably early. Maybe even offer to help. So, this is great stuff. I love this. Artist, shepherd, priest, educator, producer. But here's two main ideas about the fertilizer. For the fertilizer. Wow. About the faders. They both start with F. That's great. So, the first idea is this: the awareness of who you are, the awareness of yourself, the awareness of who you are, is really the only way to be the best version of yourself. If you don't know if you don't understand that you're one of these faders, it's really hard. Knowing what motivates you is key to becoming the best you. Because otherwise you're just kind of throwing stuff up and hoping it sticks. It's not an intentional saying, oh, I'm a this, and now I can grow as a priest. I didn't realize I was that. I'm going to push into that. And the second idea is that the faders are called faders because they're not static. You are not just an artist and you can't be moved. It's not like this. Can you go to the next slide? It's a funny picture. That's the funny picture. As Coach John would say, that looks like it's a deacon-possessed church. This is not you. You're not locked. Your faders are not stuck. They might be rusted close to the bottom. Some of them, you didn't even know you had them. You actually have them. Everybody was born with them. You're all equipped with them. But what we have to do is we have to learn the skills to be able to fade up and down appropriately for the need of the moment. And it's really asking this question that I said earlier is, in this moment, what does love require of me? If I'm the drummer, and I'm this fader, and my team is requiring this of me, how am I going to do that? What's love requiring of me to do? Because here's the thing, this is not a role that you play. Like I said, it's not a hat that you wear. Every one of us has to, if you're the leader, the team leader, you have to choose songs, schedule musicians, audition and recruit, plan rehearsals, lead rehearsals, plan services, lead worship, build community, disciple the team, disciple the congregation, engage the congregation, interact with the staff, interact with the pastor, increase excellence. That's your job, right? But you're going to do that from a different way depending on what fader you are. And that's, this takes years to learn, as you can tell, right? You can't just, now I'm going to do this. Great. All my problems are solved. People are going to stop harping me for not, giving them the music long enough in advance tomorrow. You might need coaching. So we teach you, we coach you through this framework to say, okay, you're this. Now, what does it look like for you to do these things with excellence? What does it look like for you to do these things in ways that light you up? Because remember, it's a motivation, right? So you're motivated to do a certain thing. And just to dispel a myth, it's not that the artists are the only one that make good music. That's not true. You could read it that way, but that's not true. It might be the one who most naturally does it like that, but there's so many other factors that play into that. It's not just the artist. You can be any of those other faders and create excellent music. So don't cop out because you're not an artist. All right? Love you. So let's just kind of wrap our time with these two thoughts, because like I said, the first thing is being aware of who you are is the place to start, right? So let's look at this question. This is a feedback question. So by a show of hands, let's look at which of our faders are the lowest. Like you think like this one, I didn't even know I had it, or it's rusted shut, or it has one of those guys on it. So how many of you would say, by a show of hands, that artist is like your lowest one? Don't be shy or bashful. Don't feel like, oh, they're going to think I'm an idiot. No, that's okay. A couple of you, okay. How about shepherd, lowest shepherd? I'm raising my hand, not just for this reason. Shepherd is my lowest, for sure, okay. Priest? More, yeah. And educator? Yeah, probably about the same. Okay, and then the last, producer. Interesting. So, total rough view of the room. A lot of artist shepherds, and it goes down from there, which is just a little interesting snapshot. Now, let me ask this question: does anybody want to say why you thought that's the low? Like, what evidence have you seen in your own life? Just as an example, so we can learn from you. What did you think of when you said, "Well, I'm the lowest of this because"? Call it out. I thought I wasn't a producer because I don't have the vision to build. I love that verbiage, a vision to build. That's a good producer verbiage. Yeah, that's really great. Somebody else? Maybe a different fader. I'm not a priest because I'm too set in structure and I can't let go. Just gather around here and lay your hand. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That's such a great. Isn't that like? How does that make you feel, guys? If you have people that feel this way on your team, might the Lord give you anything in your hearts of love toward them, knowing some of how they're wired? That it's not just like you're a stick in the mud or you're a control freak, but that at some level internally, you feel like, this is really hard when you ask me to do a verse again or God forbid, switch songs before the service. Like, no, it's really hard. Like, so what does, and I'm making a caricature out of this, right? But how can we use this in a way that we are allowed to be then vessels of God's mercy and vessels of God's grace and love to our team, and that our team gets better because we've said, man, I don't get that because I am a free spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, no, thanks, that's great. We need that too. But how can we be toward each other in such a way that you're going to bring out the best in that? You're going to capitalize on the best of what that producer or that artist is going to bring by turning your own stuff down and turning other stuff up and learning that. So, somebody else, yeah. Yeah.
And so I fight with those roles because I love them so much. I want them to get what God has in them. Only come if His presence comes, not if we keep the program.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you hear the word she's using, I love them so much. I love them more than I care for them. And I love God more than. So because of that compellingness, excuse me, I want to help them go forward. I want to help them encounter God, and the only way that we can do that is if we go here. So what does it look like for me to be a shepherd and to be a little bit more shepherding when I'm doing that? Or what does it look like to be even a healthier priest, if that's my main thing, in such a way that I can bring people along because of that? Yeah.
The way that I've helped to myself there, because I fought there, is to work with the senior pastor more. Because he loves the people. So I get his heart.
Yes.
And then I stay in the place where I'm working really with him.
Yeah. So she said, the way I've worked on that is that I connect with my pastor, who is a shepherd, and I get to hear his heart and get to see his vision and the way he does things, which is exactly where I was going to go next. So thank you for that. It's this. If you think about, well, let's do it this way. So if you think that you are primarily an artist, like that's your highest, and raise your hand. Nice and proud, yes, artist. Okay, cool. If you think you're a shepherd, raise your hand. Priest. That's very interesting. Educator. And producer. Wow, that's fascinating. It's like almost exactly even, with maybe producer being a tiny bit more, but that's really, really interesting that it's that even. So here's what we want to do. This is what Julie was saying. And that is, think of somebody or find somebody who is the highest in that you're the lowest in. And just start asking them questions. Like, how do you think? Seriously. Like, what's your natural default? Like, just tell me the stuff that seems like stupidly obvious. Tell me that. Right? And start to learn from that person, because they'll put language in your mouth that you didn't have naturally. That's this whole framework came out of coaching 4 worship leaders at a church together. And the guy that's the shepherd was telling the story about how he reads the nonverbals of his team when they walk in, and he makes adjustments to how he leads rehearsal based on that. I've never thought about that in my entire life. Are the monitors set? Do we have the charts? Do my tracks work? You doing all right? Are we ready to meet Jesus? Man, I'm not reading their body language and making adjustments. Like, I needed that as a tool to help me figure out, oh, that's how you think. That's so helpful to me, because now I understand I've got 5 faders, and I need to learn how to put them up and down at the moment's notice when I need to. And I can't do that naturally. It's not possible. We need each other. Isn't that beautiful that we need each other that way? So maybe it's, today with your team, maybe it's at lunch today or this week. Just start looking for people, asking questions now that you kind of understand some of this framework. So I think maybe you're an artist. Can you tell me how you think? Like, how do you prepare for rehearsal personally? Like, what's your process? Like, you'll get some really significantly different answers. Like, I don't know, I show up. Like, if they're kind of on time, I don't know. We're just going to worship Jesus. Okay, so I'm an artist, and that I'm already I feel like bad things happening in my body as you say that. Mainly anger, and but how do you? Okay. So can you tell me what are you expecting then? Like, how does that work for you? 'Cause I need to understand this. What is it that happens inside of you at rehearsal that makes that okay? That wasn't the best question, but you know what I'm saying. So that's my assignment for you. is to start figuring out where you are, where your faders are. Maybe pick one way that you might be more resourceful in that as that fader, and then find people who are what you're not, and learn from them. Ask them how they think. Ask them how they do these roles that you keep falling down on. Like, you'll be surprised, even like some of the producers, you'll ask them, like, how do you, like, maybe there's another worship, maybe you're like the on-staff worship leader, and you wish you had an assistant because you're not very good at those details, right? Never? Anybody here? Cool. And meet with another worship leader who's like a lot more like, has their ducks in a row and uses Planning Center like this, and like has stuff scheduled out for 3 months, and like, I don't even understand what you're talking about. And sit down there and just pick their brain. Just try to understand how they think about stuff. And you'll pick up like productivity stuff that you had no idea you were missing. Like, you'll pick up all kinds of stuff if you just listen to each other. So that's your assignment. And your goal really is to know how to balance your faders. It doesn't mean they need to be like this. That might not be right. But in different moments, love requires different things. And so you need to learn how to put your faders up and down, to raise and lower your faders for the need of the moment. Cool?